Hi, everybody, and welcome to the last part of our 3-day convention. I just want to start off by thanking each and every one of you for joining us for tonight and for any of the sessions that you might have been able to make it to throughout this convention. Thank you all so much. I've had so much fun interacting with everybody and kind of getting this kicked off. And now, hopefully what you all have been waiting for, we are going to announce the results of our election. So I am going to I'm going to welcome Ajax and Sydney Satalino to the stage to get us kicked off for our election results. Ajax and Sydney.
Hi!
Hey!
Yeah.
We did it!
We did it! The election results are in, and they will be announced shortly. But first, I want to thank you all for voting. Thank you all for making your voices heard. Thank you for deciding the future of our party. We are one of the only political parties in the entire country that let you guys, the members, decide who's going to lead it. Not the party elites, not corporations, you, the people. And we are so excited to announce who is going to be our new party chair.
Sydney and I we're the two longest sticking around staff members of the Progressive Party, and we've taken this thing from, I think 26 people in a Discord server that doesn't exist anymore to training up candidates to get them on the ballot across the U.S. And
yeah.
I think that our entire staff, everyone who has joined us on this journey, has been a quintessential part, no matter how big their impact has been, of pushing us forward and pushing us further towards what a Progressive Party future looks like. One of those staff members is Sydney Binns, who has been running the entire convention. And I just want to take time, if you're in the chat, go off for Sydney Binns.
Yes.
Wait, I gotta do the sound effects. Yay. And yeah, I'm excited to see what the results of the election are and who we get to work with.
Yes, I'm excited too.
All right. Well, I'd like to introduce Mac McGuire. Mac McGuire is the party recorder, which means that they're responsible for our documentation. They keep the notes of our board and of directors and such. Mac McGuire is also the internal elections officer, which is that word confirmed by the board of directors to oversee elections and operate the elections and make sure that they are fair and free. Mac will be delivering the results of tonight's election, the election that's happened over the last couple of days. You unanimously, and there's no reason it wouldn't be unanimous. Mac, welcome to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all can hear me okay? Perfect. Let me pull up this. Okay, can you guys see that? There we go. Perfect. Okay. So without further ado, we've already had a pretty good introduction. So the election results, first I will announce party chair and then the staff seat in that order. So after verifying and confirming all of the votes that we received, the party chair has been elected as Heather Schaub. Congratulations. And the staff seat is Sydney Binns.
Wait.
Thank you guys so much.
Got a gong too. I want to invite both. We have Heather and we have Sydney here with us. All of the candidates who were on the ballot were asked to attend. These are the two that we've got, the winning ones. I'd love to invite them to the stage to have an unexpected presence. This is cozy. Do you feel like $1 million? Are you taking APAC money yet?
And I will say it was unanimous for both.
Yay. I'm really excited to, Sydney, obviously I've worked with you, Heather. I'm really excited to get to know you more and to work more with you. Like I was saying with Sydney, we have, we put a lot of work into this, and it's been a lot of hours and a lot of trust and new volunteers and new staff. So I'm excited to have you both at the steering wheel and hopeful that this works out well.
Yeah. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for running. Thank you so much for leading. And Sydney, you've been a pleasure to work with on this convention. I cannot wait to start working with you on the board of directors. And Heather, congratulations on being our new party chair. I know Ajax feels relieved that she won't have to do that job in 35 days. And so, Heather, I can't wait to get to know you more. I can't wait to get to work with you. And it's going to be really exciting.
Thank you guys all so much. Thank you to all the members as well. I extremely appreciate the support, and I hope to do great work with all of you soon.
Great. Now, I'm going to give you both one celebratory sound effect. So there's applause, there's bongos, there's a gong, there's a train whistle, there's a screaming dude, and there's a booing sound. Sydney, I'll let you go first. Which sound effect would you like?
Definitely the screaming dude.
All right, Heather, take your pick.
What are the choices again?
Applause, bongos, a gong, a dude screaming, a train whistle, or a booing sound?
The train whistle.
Yes!
Awesome. Well, I'm going to hand it back to Sydney. The rest of us will get off the crowded stage. We've got just a couple of minutes. Stick around. Send this link to other people. We've got Reverend Dr. Caleb J. Lyons joining us for our keynote. But you should invite other people. It's not too late to do so. Thank you all.
Congratulations, you two.
Thank you. Amazing. Well, hello again, everybody. Whoa. Okay. Sorry. So yeah, just like less than 2 minutes here, we're going to hear from Reverend Dr. Caleb J. Lyons. Unfortunately, he is not able to join us live. We have a pre-recorded video. But if you guys do have any questions, you're more than welcome to send them in the chat, and I can send them over to him and see if we can get some of those answered for you in the Discord. But yeah, so as we do come to this final note of conference, I do just kind of want to slow down for a second and return to the heart of why we're all here. Over the last few days, we talked a lot. We've talked a lot about policy, structure, organizing, strategy, everything. But underneath all of it is this deeper question of what do we believe we owe one another? It's this deeper question of where can we find our shared humanity, which has come up a lot over the last couple of days. Our closing keynote invites us to see politics not just as a system or as a platform, but as a moral choice. a choice rooted in dignity, justice, and care for our communities. Reverend Dr. Caleb J. Lyons brings a perspective shaped by faith, lived experience, and moral leadership, reminding us that issues like economic fairness, healthcare, civil rights, peace, and sustainability, they're not just these abstract debates, but they're reflections of our shared responsibility to one another. Dr. Lyons is an ordained minister with standing in the Christian Church Disciples of Christ, the United Church of Christ, and the Progressive Christian Alliance. He serves as senior minister of the University Christian Church in San Diego and is the co-executive director of the Center for Progressive Christianity. He also co-hosts the Moonshine Jesus Show, which explores theology and politics through science fiction and fantasy. He is an award-winning author and digital creator whose work challenged us to lead with moral courage. So without any further ado, I am going to bring
the Reverend Dr. Caleb J. Lyons.
Restart it.
Hi, I'm the Reverend Dr. Caleb J. Lyons, Co-Executive Director of the Center for Progressive Christianity and Senior Minister and CEO of University Christian Church in San Diego. As a Christian clergy person, my faith is important to me. It shapes my values and informs how I interact with the world, even how I engage with the political process. I also consider myself to be a patriot, someone who truly loves my country. And that's why I am deeply offended when I see something rising in the United States as abhorrent as Christian nationalism. Christian nationalism is not Christian. It is not patriotism. Instead, it is a quest for power wrapped in Bible drag. It's all about legislating fundamentalist Christian beliefs, not the ethics and values of Jesus, but fundamentalist Christian beliefs. And legislating those is a clear violation of the separation of church and state guaranteed to us in the First Amendment. It also requires unquestioning loyalty to the MAGA movement of the Trump administration. And this should deeply offend all of us as Americans, where the power is supposed to be with the people. That's what democracy is. But it also fills me with moral outrage because it is antithetical to the teachings of Christianity. If I look to the Bible, what I see is a warning about worshiping a singular person or even a nation. We do this over and over again from Pharaoh to Nebuchadnezzar to Caesar. And in fact, Jesus spent much of his life and ministry confronting this idea that people ought to worship Caesar or the Roman Empire. In fact, the Roman Empire crucified him for his nonviolent political activism. That's not always the way we talk about Jesus, but that's what crucifixion was for. A warning not to rise up against the Roman Empire. And it was because Jesus looked at his society and he was instructed to worship Caesar, to unquestioningly give his loyalty to the Roman Empire. And instead, he dreamt about something else, about a different kind of society. He held this vision that he had, the basileia. And that's a Greek word that just means kingdom. And it wasn't an earthly kingdom like the Roman Empire. Instead, it was a radical new social order, something that he dreamt of, God's dream even, in which everyone had enough, and in which peace was not created through conquest and violence, which is how the Romans created peace, the great Pax Romana, the great Roman peace through conquest. Instead, what Jesus was talking about was peace through the presence of justice. Whenever he looked around at his society, he saw that justice was desperately needed because there were many more have-nots than there were haves. But those who had way too much. Perhaps that reminds you of our society, in which we allow the unfettered accumulation of wealth. The mere fact that billionaires exist in our world should fill us with moral outrage, because it means that those people are accumulating all that wealth while so many in our world die from preventable causes and don't have enough to eat. The world is unbalanced. And that's why in this dream, Jesus said that this future, it's a place where the last are first and the first are last, where those who have too much will have less, and those who don't have enough will have more. And we will look around and we will take care of each other, ensure that everybody has enough. Today we'd call that a just economic system. And so that means whenever we are doing things like cutting safety nets, that's something that because of my faith I find reprehensible. We should be strengthening safety nets for people. We should be ensuring that programs that lift people up are available because that is, from my perspective, what my faith calls me to do. Jesus also went around and he looked and he saw that there were a lot of people who were being shoved to the margins. These were people who society found to be unacceptable. And it seems to me that in our society, this is happening more and more, particularly for people who are not straight white men. We see immigrants being illegally detained, deported without due process, even though in my tradition the biblical text says you are to welcome the stranger and even to treat them as a citizen in the land. I see the rights of LGBTQ plus people being stripped away, even though we are told that absolutely everyone is a child of God with inherent worth and dignity. I see that people who can get pregnant are having their reproductive health taken away from them as well, and it's morally abhorrent. Jesus looked around and he saw that there were people who were being shoved to the margins, and he went there and sat with them, breaking down the barriers and the purity culture of his time to tell them that they were worthy. And for me, I hear a moral imperative for us to do the same in our society to groups that we see being marginalized. While Jesus was spending time on the margins, he also recognized that there were people who were sick and suffering. And in those days, they believed that the reason that you were sick or suffering was because you'd done something wrong, because you hadn't been ethical enough. And Jesus saw a problem with that, because he recognized that that's a lie cooked up by those who are already rich and powerful. So you know what he did? He went there and he said, don't worry about it. Forgive it. It's fine. And in that ancient world, that was a manner of health care. That was a form of healing. And so what he did was he went around the people who were sick and suffering and told them that they were worthy, that they were enough. He provided the health care of his day for free. So I see a moral imperative here as well, that we are called to ensure that people have the health care that they need, and they can access it for free. We are the only country in the developed world that doesn't have universal health care. Don't buy the lie that we just can't figure it out in the United States. That's not true. We can't figure it out because we don't want to figure it out, because people make a fortune off the vulnerability of others. People make a fortune by taking advantage of people when they are at their lowest moment. That's why in the United States we continue to have people go bankrupt just trying to pay their medical bills. This is unbelievable and entirely unacceptable. We must implement universal health care. I also look to my sacred text and I recognize that the earth is sacred. When I look to the opening chapters of the Bible, we see God look out at this earth and call it good, claim it as something sacred, and entrust it to human beings' care. We have not done a good job taking care of this earth. In fact, we have done a terrible job, because it's not just that climate change will happen, it is that the climate is already changing and will continue to change more drastically. And so we must put in place practices and policies that stop that from happening and try to reverse as much as possible. But here's the thing, it is not individuals who do the majority of polluting. It is not individuals who are primarily responsible for this. We know who it is. It is corporations who are the largest polluters in our world. And so if we want to make a change in climate change, what we have to do is green the practices of these corporations. We have to implement legislation that does not allow them to put their accumulation of wealth at the expense of people, because they care about profit over people, and that is morally unacceptable. Also, that one of the other largest causes of pollution in our world is the war machine that both kills the planet and kills people. And a peace-first foreign policy is something that is a must for us to flourish as a nation. We seem to believe that the more arms we accumulate, the safer we are, the more powerful we are. But if we really want to live in a peaceful world, we must work for diplomacy and foreign aid, not trigger-happy policy. It's especially true for those of us who follow this nonviolent, radical revolutionary from 2,000 years ago who told us that those who pick up the sword will die by the sword. It also means that whenever we are approaching foreign policy, we must be accountable to the UN, and whenever we see atrocities happening in our world, like the genocide in Gaza, we cannot turn a blind eye. There are many problems in our society today. There are many challenges that our nation is facing. But you know what? It's also an incredible opportunity. These are values that my faith teaches me, but it's not just my faith. I think these are moral values. They also happen to be the Progressive Party platform. You see, in our society, we have framed these issues as left versus right, but they're really not. They're issues of right versus wrong. They're issues of morality versus immorality. And so if we want to create a better society, what Jesus called the Basileia of God, what Martin Luther King Jr. called the beloved community, what we might call a more perfect union, if we want to create a more just society, then we have an incredible opportunity. And now is the time. Instead of continuing to allow a nosedive into fascism, we organize. We participate in the political process. We get to work implementing policies that will make this world better for all of us. Because each of us is better off when we are all taken care of. So friends, let's commit to work together for a more perfect union. And let's do it together. May it be so.
Awesome. That was Dr. Reverend Caleb J. Lyons. I hope you guys enjoyed that as much as I did. I absolutely love him and his work. Please go follow him on Instagram if you don't already. With that, everybody, that concludes the Progressive Party's 2025 A Charter for Change Convention. Great. Thank you all so much. That wasn't me. Thank you guys so much for joining. We really appreciate it. And we will be having a members only night on Discord. If you're not a member, become a member. Come join us on Discord. We will have some of the speakers joining us. George Terry Jr. will be there, who talked about neurobiology and identity. The board will be there. I will be there. So if you guys have any questions or you want to talk to any of us, please head on over there. Thank you all so, so much. I really appreciate it. I had a really amazing time this weekend, and I hope you guys did too. Thank you.